Welcome to this exciting recipe webcast. I'm Robert Farrell. I will share my face with you in a second, but I'm here today with grill master Matt Pereiro, the inventor of Grillie. So in a second, I'm going to get Matt. I can see Matt on my other camera here. And Matt, are you ready?
I am ready. Thank you.
So this is Matt. This is Matt Pereiro. He's the inventor. I'm going to solo him. He's the inventor of Grillie. Matt, how are you today?
I'm great. We're going to be doing Italian hot dogs today on the grill. Everything, the dogs, the potatoes, the onions, the peppers, and garlic. Everything in one basket. My Grillie, the Grillie itself. I'm going to do 2 of them, and we're going to make enough food for at least 12 people in about 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer.
What kind of bread are you using?
Portuguese rolls.
Portuguese rolls.
Yes, these are my Portuguese rolls. This is the type of bread we're serving here. These rolls are fantastic. Got to get fresh Portuguese rolls. And the dogs we're using are these jumbo dogs out of Costco. Oh man, these things are fantastic.
Do you know roughly what the total cost would be for today's meal?
I do not, but it's probably close to $12 maybe.
To feed how many people?
About 12 people.
About 12 people. Wow. $1 a person.
Yeah, that's a good number, about $1 a person.
Now, what are we going to use? I know we're using the grill, but tell us about your invention.
Okay, this is the Grillie. This is what a Grillie looks like. It's just a basket, a wire mesh cylinder that you pull off this top. You fill this with your food, put the top back on, and you're going to place this on the grill. And then you're going to take and you're going to rotate it every so often. Sometimes each meal's a little different. Today we're going to probably rotate it maybe every 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And we're going to grill these Italian hot dogs with this. I will pull it off the grill. We'll pop the lid off. And I'll pour it into a dish over here. And then I'll show you what the food looks like. Unfortunately, you can't taste it just yet unless you go out and get your Grillies. And then you are going to see something that is just pure magic. It's truly remarkable what this Grillie can do. So
tell us about the genesis of how did you come up with this idea? What was your purpose?
I wanted to create an easy way to grill vegetables. And I mean as simple as you could possibly make vegetables. So there was no thinking. You just throw the vegetables in. You do your magic on the grill, pull them off, and then I could do any kind of vegetable, whether it's asparagus, string beans, or cauliflower, broccoli. I can do peas with this. With this now, I could do peas. We do zucchini, eggplant, anything you can think of will fit in here. We do butternut squash, all sorts of root vegetables. So that was the genesis. The first time I tested out the idea, I made it for my wife. She did not know I had made this yet. Many other things. I make a lot of different things. We have a lot of patented products that we sell on the web, but this one here she did not know about. I served her up grilled, I call this a grilled zucchini. And the zucchini she tasted, she said, "What did you do? This is the best zucchini I have ever had off the grill. It's moist, it's super grilled flavored, and it is buttery. What did you do?" So then I showed her my prototype that looks something like this. And she said, "That's unbelievable." And from there, we just kept experimenting and experimenting. And now we are at Italian hot dogs. And the Italian hot dogs I have done a number of times. Absolutely the easiest and the best. And if you own 4 of these, I can put 4 on this grill here. You can do 28 hot dogs in 15 minutes. 28 Italian hot dogs.
Well, the kids must love it. The parents must love it because it's an easy treat for the kids, and the kids must go nuts over it.
And it's all in one. You don't have to cook the saute the vegetables separate. You don't have to saute the onions separate. You don't have to do the potatoes separate. None of this is separate. I bought today, we'll be using these frozen seasoned fries. I buy these in the bag. This is 2 pounds. Put a pound each in each Grilli with the dogs, with the potato, with the peppers and onions, and I throw in garlic. Easy. You don't even, it took me less than 5 minutes to cut up all this food and have everything ready. All you have to do is thaw out the food the day before, the night before, a few hours before, and fill your Grillies, pop them in the grill, and you're done. You don't have to even clean the grill. It's so easy.
Well, I'll tell you, the way I've been using my Grilli is, because I've had mine for a couple of months now,
Yep.
is I'll basically pack the Grilli the night before I go to bed,
Yep.
throw it in the refrigerator, and then next day just throw it on the grill. It's amazing. All right, so let's get cooking with Italian hot dogs. What do we do next?
So this is a Grilli here that I've been using this. I've used this probably 70 times now, maybe more, maybe 75. This, you can see, has a patina to it. You're supposed to treat your Grillies like a cast iron frying pan. They're supposed to have a little bit of patina to them, and you don't have to scrub them clean, like make them shiny. That's not the purpose. They hold up, and I expect this to last 2-3 years without any trouble. Maybe 200-300 times you can get use out of one Grilli, not even batting an eyelash. So that's what it looks like in today's way we fill the Grilli. So I'm gonna put some peppers in here, put some onions in here.
So what color of peppers are you using, red and green?
Red and green. And then what I like to do, I take the Grilli. See how I shake them up? They're all
Looks like a bingo machine.
mixed together. And I even throw in some garlic slices here.
Did you say garlic? Garlic?
These are the garlic slices here. I
Wow, okay.
slice 1 inch thick.
So you're kind of going off the menu a little bit with the Italian hot dog, right? You're adding some garlic?
Absolutely. Then I'll start stuffing it with French fries, with these seasoned fries.
Now are the fries thawed already or they're still frozen?
They're thawed. They're pretty much thawed. Then I'll start throwing in 1 dog, 2 dogs, 3 dogs, for rotation. Put a couple more dogs in, and we do 7 per Grilli because we get 14 in a pack here. Roughly put in about a pound of the potatoes. And I'll snap my lid on like this. And here is a filled Grilli.
So I have a quick question. What's the advantage of the Grilli over those square cages that we all bought at one time or another?
You will see in a minute how I use it on the grill. What you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to rotate this, spray it, and I use different types of oils over here. I have all different types of oils, but I primarily like to use my olive oil. But I have canola oil, vegetable oil, peanut oil, and grapeseed oil. I even have a bottle of vinegar for different types of recipes. But you can spray anything onto here. But then you rotate it, and you spray it, rotate, spray it, and rotate. The bottom part's going to get nice and charcoal, nice and grilled. But the upper part, because when I close the lid, you get a convection heat. So we cook right now, we're at a little over 500 here. See my grill? So I will then take this guy, pop him on with the cap away from you. Because what we're going to do is take this fork and rotate it. And I'll show this in a minute.
So what's your temperature again? Your temperature is what?
I usually like to preheat to 450 and cook at really high temperatures with the Grilli. So I'm going to spray, as you can see here, rotate, spray, rotate, spray, rotate. And I like to add a little olive oil. Of course, they're Italian hot dogs. What other oil would you use? So that is going to sit there for about 5 minutes or so. And then we're going to take and rotate that again. Here's the other Grilli here. So I'll take my peppers, pop them in. Now I want to just show one thing about cutting up onions. After you slice them, all you need to do is quarter it like this, and you're done. Throw them in the Grilli. I'll throw in my garlic. Put on my top here. Shake it up. There you go. You got a bed of vegetables ready to go. So let's start throwing in some frozen fries. Pop in a few dogs.
So, quick question: how do you know the amount? How much do you want to fill the Grilli? Is it trial and error? Is it just experimentation?
It has been by experimentation. We have experimented with this, and we're just trying to understand what the limits are of this. I usually like to fill them up. You know, it depends on what the food is. I can take a whole basket like this. I can fill the Grilli with a 1 pound bag of spinach, and that will all cook down. Some of this is going to cook down. So sometimes I use a half full as a starting point, but you can alter that. Sometimes you go above that. It all depends what you're cooking, because we cook all sorts of stuff in here now.
Well, it's interesting that you say about the spinach, because I know I cooked 2 full Trader Joe bags of spinach last weekend, and I couldn't believe. I thought somebody stole my spinach in the middle of the cooking, because when I took it out of the Grilli, the spinach just basically congeals down to nothing. It almost disintegrates.
That's what it does. Okay, so I'm going to place my other Grilli on the grill there. We'll do the same thing we did before. So you're going to see this one's a little bit less filled than this one.
So you cook them for about, what, 5 minutes and then turn them?
In the Italian hot dogs, yes. I like to let them just get a nice crispy grilled bottom, and whenever the bottom meets the grill, that will turn up, we'll have that really nice grilled marks that you get.
Now, what I notice when I cook on the Grilli, I put the lid at the back.
Yep.
You want to put the lid at the back? You don't want to turn from the lid, right?
Always put the lid in the back, because you're going to rotate from the fixed part of the basket here. Okay, so we're going to let that sit. And each Grilli, the one that's filled almost about 3/4 full, we might let that one go for 18 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. But the other one is a 15-minute Grilli. Depends how much you fill them. But they are going to cook. I mean, when you start cooking like this, everything cooks together, and the heat gets inside all the food, and it radiates out, and it's constantly cooking, and with the oils keep heating up and cooking all the vegetables and all the
so all that food marinates together.
All of it. It's really pretty.
All right. So while we're waiting for that to cook, are we going to do card tricks, live band? What do we have going on? I wanted to show your website, and perhaps you can basically give me some insights. I handpicked some of these recipes off your website. So here's the homepage of your website. But I picked up what I thought was probably the most interesting. If you could kind of talk through this and tell me what we're seeing here.
Well, on the homepage there, you're going to see.
As an example, I'm going to go to the, which I found fascinating. The thing I like about your recipes is you have your nutritional facts right there in your recipe, which I think is very helpful.
Most of the food that comes off the Grilli, I would say.
Yeah. Now, can you explain these to me? What are these? I mean, there's a section on your website that says grilled bread, Grilli bread. So what the heck are these things? They look delicious, by the way.
Those were an invention because the Grilli allowed us to create these spherical objects and grill them. Normally, I would never be able to do this type of product on the grill. So what we did was we took pizza dough, rolled it out, about 1/8 inch thick pizza dough layers, and then we sliced it up, and then we made these balls, and then we took a cup and we, just like you see there, put the dough in, and we put a filling in, and you can fill it with just about anything.
Wait a second. Is that pasta?
That was a day-old pasta, olive oil, basil, garlic, spaghetti, or linguine in that case, and it was.
So you made a Grilli. What are you calling them? Grilli Phillies.
Grilli Phillies, and we fill them, and then that's what they look like. And then
I want our audience to understand. So we went from this, which is you said pizza dough. You didn't make this dough, right? It's store-bought pizza dough.
I go to local supermarket and buy pizza dough. It's much easier.
So from here, it goes to this, and then that. There they are on the Grilli.
7 minutes.
They just look fabulous, like unbelievable. What's the cooking time for these? Does it depend on the filling?
No, typically it's a 7-minute cooking time. That's what I usually cook at. You can maybe cook a little longer, but you'll burn them if you cook them too long. I like them that golden brown color with a little bit of the grilled marks on there. It's truly remarkable.
Now, I was perplexed when I went to your site and I saw, are you kidding me? Grilled meatballs?
Yeah.
How did anybody think of doing meatballs on the barbecue? Tell us about that.
When I first started using a Grilli, the rules of grilling did not normally apply. I had to throw out everything I thought about grilling because it wasn't the way the Grilli liked to grill. Grilli liked to grill things like it loved round objects. So meatballs was a natural. But with this, you can make them smaller. You can throw in onions. You can throw in celery, garlic. You can really mix it up. And then that becomes a full meal. I mean, if you want to throw in some collard greens or spinach or some other green in there, that's a full meal. That's the beautiful thing about the Grilli.
So these meatballs, what's these meat? It's obviously chopped meat, and what else is in here?
I put chopped meat, onions, typical meatball recipe. It got some Parmesan cheese in there, a little bit of garlic in there, but they were absolutely sensational, and they cook very quickly. I think those meatballs take between 10, 12 minutes. And you do have to turn them a little more frequently.
Then that's the final result. Okay, so let's move on to a couple of. Do you have to turn the Grilli at this point?
I'm going to turn again here and just show you what this looks like. So I already turned it while we were speaking before, but I'm going to just add a little bit more oil. Let them sit. There you go. That's it. Now
so that's been about 5 minutes, I guess, right?
It's about dependent. One was 5 and one's around 10ish, about 9 minutes.
Okay.
So, Grill Master, you can take some time off. You don't have to spend too much time over here. Once you prep these things, in fact, like you did, you could prep the night before. If I have prepped these the night before, left them in the refrigerator, then brought them out, and all I do is just pop them on the Grilli. I can put them. I've taken them in. I have a nice big refrigerated bag that I put in 4 Grillies. I brought them into New York City. Went to my friend's house. She has the upper floor of one of the buildings in the city, and she allowed us to do a barbecue up there with the Grillies. I had charcoal grill to cook with. It was my very first time. You can go on the website. You can see some of the charcoal grill recipes. But we did lamb. I had lamb. It was like a lamb kebab, like a Grilli kebab, because it had everything that you would have on a kebabs, but it was all mixed in the Grilli. Took 12 minutes. I was done. It was beautiful. Then we had a seafood dish as well. And so you can carry these things around with you to different events. If you're going out,
They must be great for tailgating.
it's awesome for tailgating.
All right, let's go back to your website again for a second. Tell me about this dish. Do you have to turn those again, or you're okay?
I think we're okay.
All right, tell me about this dish.
That is salmon, butternut squash, spaghettied butternut squash.
This just looks absolutely like a gourmet dish that you get at a 5-star restaurant here in Manhattan. I mean, I've been to Boulay, and I've been to different great restaurants here in the city, and this looks like one of those part of these $150 tasting menus. I mean, this is just absolutely amazing. So tell us about the process here.
So you're going to buy squash, butternut squash, and you can spaghetti-ize it like we did there. You can either buy it pre-spaghettied, or you can do it with your own little spaghetti tool. And you can see how we fill the Grillies with spinach, butternut squash, garlic, and the salmon. I had big fillets in there, and there they are. And they are sensational. I mean, this food it's easily 5-star food. And I'm not a 5-star cook by any imagination, but the Grilli makes me look great. I mean, I'm not a cook by nature. I just like.
I know you've been getting feedback from some of your customers where they basically become the hit of their neighborhood because now they're the go-to barbecue guy.
Oh, yes. People love it. Once they start using it, once they start tasting the food, it changes your world. All of a sudden, you start thinking of all these possibilities. Now, I can only think of a few things. I've done a lot of really neat things with this, but people are doing stuff I never even imagined it could be done. I mean, I never thought doing chicken wings, buffalo wings in the Grilli. They filled it up with buffalo wings and said it was the best buffalo wings they ever had. The same thing with ribs. They took the ribs, they threw them in the Grilli. They loved it. I would never have done that.
Didn't you tell me a couple days ago that one of your customers did scrambled eggs and peppers?
Yes. Absolutely insane. I'm going to be getting that recipe, and we have our website. You can sign up for recipes, and we do an email usually once a week, and I send out a recipe for you to try for that weekend with your Grilli. And like today's a perfect day. You see what we're doing. If you didn't know about the Grilli, now want to get one, you go to the site. I'll send them. They'll be sent out to you early in the week. You should get them for easily next week, and you'll have a recipe or several recipes if you go to the site to try out with the Grilli.
Well, I don't know if I shared with you, but I cooked last weekend for my neighbors up on my New York City apartment, and one of my neighbors, she said, "This is barbecue crack." This food was so addicting and so tasty. She said it's almost illegal. It's like barbecue crack.
Well, my wife does a Weight Watchers thing, and she uses a scale of points. 0 points is like super good. And a lot of the Grilli recipes we do are 0 points for her. But she says, you got to stop me. I can't stop eating this stuff. Once you start, it's a taste that I can't describe. You have to experience it yourselves. And when you do, you will see what I'm talking about. You'll say, oh, Now I know what Matt was talking about.
So
And
let's go back to your site. Let's go back to your site again for a second. So tell us about this. This is your grilled sausage and broccoli rabe.
Oh, I love this. See, I love broccoli, Robert. I use premium Italian sausage, and those are hot sausage links. And I put them in the Grilli. That's about a 15, 18-minute barbecue, but it was so good. I mean, where are you going to mix all those flavors together? You can't do it any other way. Sure, I love barbecuing sausage links by themselves, but look at this dish that I'm showing you. This is an unbelievable dish. And then you can put that on bread or just serve it up as a dish in itself. But the the fun thing is you don't have to cook a lot of sides. Everything's done in one shot. It's done, one and done.
So the thing I noticed, Matt, when I cook in the Grilli is everybody can now sit down and enjoy their meal at once.
Exactly. Made me very happy.
So you don't have to basically cook this and then wait for something else. So with 4 Grillies, you can basically feed roughly how many people if you have 4 Grillies?
So yeah, the right type of meal, you could feed 24 people, probably between 20 and 24 people if you really wanted to. Right
And prep the plate. I know it depends on the type of recipe,
yeah.
but in general, prep the plate. How long would that take to serve 24 people?
It took me 5 minutes to really prep everything and then fill them. You saw what time it took. Put it on the grill, and then you take them off. You're done. 4 Grillies. That's 28 hot dogs. You think you could feed 20 people with 28 hot dogs with all the other food combined, the potatoes, the peppers, the onions, and garlic? I do. I think so. And then you can all sit down, and it's a marvelous. Wait till you see when I pour this out. You're going to love this. It's going to be unbelievable. In fact, we're about to take this out right now. We're going to take out the first one. The way you take the Grillies off, use your grill tongs. And with the Grilli comes what I call the Grilli key. So if I let that sit there, that is done. Now, let's say we're going to let that sit there for about 25 seconds or so. And then I'm going to show you something that I didn't plan for in the design of this, but this is really quite remarkable what you can do, what happens with this material. It's all stainless steel, but the stainless steel doesn't hold the heat very well.
Wait. You don't have a glove on? You're picking it up with your bare hands. And it just came off the grill.
Just came off the grill.
Look at that.
The only thing you can't do is you can't touch the bands on these bands, but you can touch the mesh. So
Look at that. Wow. And that'll easily feed 4 people.
Oh yeah, well, maybe one of you or 2 of you, but
Well, one of me.
5 normal people, the 6 normal people who eat all this. So that's our dish there. And then the last part of the meal.
No, I guess you could technically put some butter on that bread and throw it on the grill. I guess you could do that too.
Sure could. So there's
And of course, you'd want to top that off with some nice mustard, right?
some mustard, ketchup, relish, whatever you want on here. But that's it, and it's done. And we're done for today. Now, your guests, they could have all be sitting down now, ready to feed them. The kids are going to love this. Look, a kid's only going to eat half of one of these. So I've got 7 dogs. You can feed 14 kids if you really wanted to. That's the normal below 13 kids. when they start getting above 13, maybe they'll eat the whole one, maybe 1.5.
So let's go back to your site one more time. I just want to show one other recipe, which I found very intriguing. I noticed that on your website, you like to cook a lot with fruit, meaning salmon and peach. And I just saw this one recipe, pork and pear. How did you possibly come up with pork and pear? What was the genesis of that?
Well, when you start to understand the way the Grilli works, you can start putting in anything. So we started throwing in mix. I love gamey food with fruit. So I thought, well, let's throw in some apples, pears. We even throw in tangerines with the meatballs. I've done it with tangerines. They're sensational. And the pork there, this pork and pear there, they all mix together. That's the wonderful, amazing thing about the Grilli. That all those flavors mix together, and that is a phenomenal meal. And we usually like to put in fruit with the fish. So I like to do salmon and peach, one of my favorite fish recipes. I promise you, it'll be the best tasting salmon you will ever have if you do it on the Grilli. And you do it according to our instructions and our recipes. It is phenomenal. Truly.
Okay, so let's talk about getting a Grilli. What's involved in getting a Grilli? Why would a person need more than one Grilli? Give us a quick little example of why you'd want multiple Grillis.
You need multiple Grillis because, as you can see, supposing you're feeding a number of 6, 8 people, that's what you can do with Grillis. But here's the other thing. Let's say you're only feeding 4 people or 6 or a small group. You can do a Grilli of one food group and a Grilli of another food group, but for like collard greens and maybe a fruit.
So if you have vegetarians and meat eaters, you can basically serve them both at the same time.
You could. Absolutely.
I just find that fascinating that you can pick that up with your bare hands in about 15, 20 seconds.
But sometimes I don't want to wait. So I just take it out like a test tube. Woo, here goes one of my dogs. I got to get a bigger plate.
You need a bigger boat.
Oh my gosh. I feel like Roy Scheider in Jaws. I need a bigger boat.
Hey, so let's talk business here for a second. So what kind of deals can one expect to get for Grilli? I saw that you had, you're running a special right now for no tax, no shipping.
We are. If you go buy a single Grilli, no tax, free shipping, that's a pretty decent deal. If you want 2 Grillis, there's a deal on there for you buy one full price. You buy one at a sale price, and then you get the second one for only $10. So
that's pretty good. And all this is at mygrilli.com.
mygrilli.com.
And Matt, I want to thank you very much for your time today and sharing with us how simple it is, because we did everything in real time today. So there's no magic. There was no, we didn't film the prep stuff because that was a little boring. But, hopefully people will understand. I just love one of your catchphrases. I know you have several of them. Philly it and Grilli it, I love. Look at that. Look how appetizing that looks.
Now that is sensational.
Our entire webcast is now going on 35 minutes, and we were able to cook this amazing meal in the meantime while we were filling the Grilli, talking about recipes. But my favorite tagline that you have, which really makes a lot of sense, especially when I started using it, is barbecue with imagination. I just love that because I'll say this, I'll admit this. I will cook a lot of leftovers from the night before. Now, I could have made that on my stove. In fact, I've actually had takeout food here in New York City, and the next day I'll throw it into the Grilli with some other fresh fruit or fresh food and just mix it up. It's absolutely a game changer. I don't use that word lightly, but this Grilli, I mean, I have years ago bought several of those square baskets, and 9 times out of 10, I wound up burning my food. But the thing I find fascinating about the Grilli is the food basically marinates, that whole turning process. I mean, you would not be able to do meatballs in a square cage. Meatballs are round. The Grilli likes round things like the Grilli Philly.
Right. Yeah, it's a pretty awesome product. And I, like I said, my intention was just to make something to grill vegetables easy, strictly for myself. That's all I wanted, was something as simple as possible. And I had no idea what we discovered, and it has exploded. And I know we say barbecue with imagination, but I'm telling you, some of you people out there, you're going to be barbecuing with mega imagination. You're going to be doing stuff that are going to blow us away. So me, I'm just an average cook, average grill guy who loves to work with the Grilli now because there's so many fun things we do, and it's easy. And I cook, like I said, I cook more fish than I've ever done before because of the Grilli, because it's easy. But when you start barbecuing, I assure you, you will blow us away. People out there are going to knock our socks off. And our website, if you like to submit recipes, you can sign up. You can have your own recipe section. You can submit your own recipes if you like to. It's pretty amazing. Anyway, barbecue with imagination. Thank you so much, Robert.
Yes, Matt, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Now, hopefully you practice safe grilling, right?
I practice very safe grilling.
Thanks again for being here. And mygrilli.com, mygrilli.com. And this is Matt Pereiro, Grill Master at mygrilli.com. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Bye.